Congratulations, CCS EV owners, because you now finally have access to a reliable DC charging network with a twist or two or three or yeah. There's a few things about this that you probably should know before actually flocking to Tesla's supercharger network, and that's what this video is going to cover. So let's begin. So I was originally going to make a video about how Tesla was in the process of retrofitting V3 superchargers to include their new Magic Dock, so that way CCS EVs can charge on it. Except by the time I actually had gotten started editing that video, it turns out Tesla turned them on, like they were now online for CCS EVs to start charging on, which rendered that entire video basically useless, so I now have to start over. Thank you, Tesla. But let's cover the basic news. Tesla has retrofitted a few superchargers that typically aren't all that busy and populated in the states of New York, and there's currently 2 in California that have opened up to this as well. Though something tells me they are no longer going to be not busy anymore after, they just went online for CCS cars. But basically what they did was they changed the holster within the supercharger stall to include a CCS adapter. So that way if you're in a Tesla, you can pull up, it's basically pull the NACS handle out and plug it into your car like, well, same as always. There's nothing new for you there. But now if you own a CCS vehicle and you want to charge at a CCS Magic Dock supercharger, well, now you pull up back into basically the incorrect parking spot by the stall. We'll get more into that in a bit. You activate the charger via your phone, and then you push up, and then it also releases the Magic Dock, aka the CCS adapter that plugs into the NACS handle, and then you use that to plug that handle into the car and start charging and such. So yes, it works. It finally does, and unlike Electrify America, I have a pretty good feeling that this is actually going to be much more reliable in terms of what EA and EVgo have to offer. However, not everything is all that rosy about this. Yes, this is an exciting event, and I am so happy for CCS EV owners to finally have a reliable network, or at least access to it, but due to some twists and catches, you might not want to make this your full-time charging network. And you still might want to, I know as backwards as it sounds, you still might actually want to stick with Electrify America. Here's why. So first up, we're going to talk about, actually, I love what David Connor called this. He calls this Cablegate. Yeah, go check out Out of Spec Dave if you want to know what I'm talking about. But he calls this Cablegate. And sure enough, he proved it when he took his wife's Genesis GV60 to a Tesla supercharger with a Magic Dock. And there was a slight problem. The charge port on the GV60, as well as many other EVs, is not in an ideal location. Where is it located? Well, with Teslas, it's the left tail light reflector, or in other words, basically driver rear side of the vehicle. That's where the NACS connector is on all Teslas. And even though Aptera's is in the rear, like in the center of the rear, Aptera checked, the cable still reaches. But with the Genesis GV60, including other vehicles on Hyundai's eGMP platform, including the Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, the GV60, as I just mentioned, as well as other vehicles like Volkswagen's ID4, their charge port is in the same location, passenger rear side of the vehicle. Yet not driver rear, passenger rear. It's on the other side of the car. And because Tesla superchargers have a shorter cable that is optimized to plug into the same side, the driver rear side, yet this is going to cause a problem for a lot of CCS cars because they have their charge ports on the opposite side. Why do they do this? Why do they have to do absolutely everything different just because they don't want to be Tesla? Tesla did everything right, guys! You should be copying them! Ugh, you're so frustrating! So, the charge port's on the wrong side. Therefore, in order to actually get the cable to reach, you have to park in the wrong spot. Therefore, blocking ready-to-use supercharger from a Tesla using it, per se. Oh, this is not going to turn out well. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of chaos surrounding about this. And it's all because we can't agree on a charge port location. Therefore, we can't use shorter cables to reduce, well, costs and all sorts of yada, yada, yada. Oh, this is frustrating. Why do they keep doing this? They're just tripping over themselves every EV they make. My apologies for ranting. I am sorry. This is not supposed to rant on CCS EVs. It's supposed to be rejoicing on them. But anywho, yeah, you might have to park in the wrong spot depending on the supercharger layout. And most of the time they're back in stalls, so yeah, good luck. Hope you don't make Tesla owners too mad because you're blocking a perfectly ready to use stall because, yeah, your car maker decided to put the charge port in the wrong location. But that's not the only caveat to doing this. This will cause some problems, and I like the name that David Connor came up with this. Cablegate. Yeah, it makes sense. It's actually a problem. So supposedly Tesla's V4 superchargers, when they roll out, they're going to address this issue. I hope that they address other issues. Like currently the supercharger network is a 500 volt charging network. And well, we have some 800 volt EVs out there. So it's actually resulting in a slightly poorer experience in charging for the 800 volt EV architecture because they have to use their onboard DC boosters, and that doesn't necessarily result in better speeds. Yeah, there's that to keep note of too. So I really hope when Tesla's V4 chargers come out, they address the length of the cable and they actually bring the voltage up to 1,000 volts to support the 800 volt EV architecture and make those CCS EV owners' lives that much better. But as of right now, this is what we got, just retrofitted V3 stations. And that's not the only caveat. Cable placement and charging speeds being degraded for the 800 volt EV architectures, yeah, it's not going to be that great for them, but that's not the only caveat. I'm actually going to talk about now charging speeds in general. Now, I could be very wrong about this. There's not that much info out there right now, and this is literally the morning after Tesla had turned on the CCS functionality for it. Therefore, not that many people have tested it out properly yet. I might be wrong about this, and if I am, then I'll make a correction in the comments below. But as of right now, to my knowledge, out of all the EVs that have gone to charge there, including the 400 volt EVs like the Rivian R1T, that is technically capable of charging at, what was it? Just a little over 200 kilowatts. No EV there, whether the battery was preconditioned or not, on the 400 volt architecture, which can take advantage of superchargers best. None of them were able to get above 150 kilowatts. And I don't know if this is because Tesla's limiting it or if they're trying to control congestion at the chargers, because now that this is open to anyone, I assume they're going to be flooded considering that they are literally the only reliable charging network out there. I kid you not. You take a look at Electrify America, they suck. EVgo, they're not much better. ChargePoint, okay, maybe a tad better, but considering that one of the stalls in my town actually just went offline due to the fact that it couldn't process a payment, yeah, that's not much better. So I don't know if they're limiting the charging speeds because they want to try to control congestion, but do be advised, even though you may have a 400 volt EV, which is what the supercharger network is optimized to charge, you might be stuck at 150 kilowatts, and I think it's because Tesla wants to manage congestion. So because of that, you might still be better off going to EA or EVgo and finding their 350 kilowatt units and getting your full 200 plus kilowatts, even if your EV is a 400 volt architecture. So you might want to be aware of that. Now, I don't know if Tesla will deliver the full 500 amps that CCS would like, therefore allowing those EVs to get around 200 kilowatts. But as of right now, I have not seen a single EV do it. Therefore, yeah, there's that. And the last thing to note about it, it's more expensive than Electrify America. So do keep in mind, when you go there, you might not get peak speeds because I think Tesla is limiting it to 150 kilowatts. I'm not too sure the reasoning, but it makes sense. But also, it's going to be more expensive to charge there as well. And that's basically the news. Do you plan on taking your CCS EV to charge at Tesla supercharger network once it rolls out to more supercharging stations? Or is this just going to backfire like how I think it currently is? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Do me a favor and interact with the stuff below. My name is DeWolf, Random Alpha, signing out.